name is Jeremy Haskell. I'm with jobsintheus.com, and we're here at the Omni Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, for the second annual Strategic HR New England Conference. And I'm joined now by Aaron Dignan, who is the CEO of Undercurrent, joining us from New York, and the author of Game Frame, Using Games as a Strategy for Success. So Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And give us a little bit of a kind of a 50,000-foot high-level view of your keynote speech.
I mean, essentially today what we're talking about are a couple key ideas that are shaping the way to get the most out of people in the workplace. So the first, really going deep on what is it about games that drive engagement? Why do people put extra effort, extra focus, extra performance into a game environment and then show up to work and kind of slump through the day, try to make it to the coffee break, right? Mm-hmm. What is it that's different about that experience? So we're going to break that down and blow out all the different reasons and ways in which games inspire, and then talk about ways to map that back into the workplace. And then the second thing is I'm going to tease a little bit at something that I'm writing about right now, which is about new organization design, new structures of teams that also borrow from some of the same ideas.
Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting. I was reading a bit of those things and talked about how if you're not playing, you're not learning.
Exactly.
You know, and so that's a very interesting concept. And at a strategic level or senior level event like we are here today, we're dealing with folks that are not necessarily on those front lines. So what are the big challenges you think that senior level folks are facing when they are faced with concepts like what you're introducing?
I think two things. One, there's a sort of uncertainty about, are we going to get what we want? Are we going to get the outcome that we're looking for? And there just simply aren't that many great examples of this happening at scale yet, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a 50,000 person organization. Is this really going to work for me? There's a bit of a leap of faith there. So everyone's waiting for someone else to try it first in some sense. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that there's a little bit of concern about how to do it right. What is the right approach? How do I sort of get the result I'm looking for and not just turn it into a farce? So I don't want to just have my people playing, I want to have them working, and I'm not sure how to blend the two. So there's a bit of a knowledge gap about, even if I sort of buy into the idea, I'm not sure quite how to put it onto the rails. I'm not sure how to change the job of a teller or the job of a frontliner. Without sort of distracting them from the day-to-day.
Sure. And in terms of introducing this game-playing strategy, what do you think has been the biggest shift that kind of drove you to this kind of hypothesis or idea? Because the world of work is obviously changing, and people are looking for that increased engagement and dealing with all of those things. So how do you make that leap, into the game philosophy? Because I know a lot of folks, particularly at the senior level, like you mentioned, they're looking for that. What I'm looking for.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm a psych guy by background, so I'm always observing. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed is I noticed my own generation engaging in networks differently. I noticed people competing over how many Twitter followers they had. I noticed people trying to make sure that their Facebook profile was perfect. I noticed people going into World of Warcraft and spending 19, 20 hours a week there. And then data starts to come out, 10,000 hours of gaming before a child reaches graduation age. That's a huge education. Mm-hmm. What is it teaching them? And so that's just, all those sort of questions and observations really just led me into starting to ask questions. And I went and spoke to the game development community, I went and spoke to teachers, I spoke to academics, and as I got more information, it became increasingly clear that this is sort of an inevitability.
This is the way the world is going.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, looking forward to your talk, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much. Excited myself.